Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is Crash over here. Say hi, buddy. Nope, you just want to play with my sweater? Okay. And this is my review for Saw X, the 10th installment into the Saw franchise. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm going to need you to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts of Saw X and the Saw franchise as a whole. And hell, if you want to, you can rank them as well. And also to subscribe to this channel, as that helps me grow into my YouTube career, and that would be greatly appreciated. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this review. So, first things first, I'm a huge fan of the Saw franchise. Always look forward to it. I think the first movie has probably the best final line in all of cinema. I mean, game over. It was just such chef's kiss. Has one of the best twists of all time. Same with the second one, too. I think they topped the twist in the second one. And yeah, I just have a good time. I always look forward to the next one that's coming out. And I do think this franchise as a whole is not just influential to horror, but also influential to pop culture as a whole. I mean, I honestly do think we don't get escape rooms without this franchise. And, you know, when someone says, I want to play a game, a lot of people's first reaction to it is, okay, Jigsaw, or okay, Triple H if you're a wrestling fan. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. And it does look like the box office is really representing to it as well. What was it, like 10 million and within the first 2 days? That's insane for a Saw movie. Biggest opening that they had within like probably Saw 5, I believe. So yeah, really looking forward to this one, especially with John Kramer coming back, and it's actually his story with it being his most personal game yet, because these people wronged him and they did what I don't think was ever possible. We're like, yeah, we're cheering for Jigsaw. John Kramer is the hero. He's the protagonist. It was also great to see Shawan, I'm definitely butchering her name, the girl who plays Amanda, seeing her back as well, and actually seeing that mentorship being brought. Really, it just was ticking all the boxes for me to see how excited I was to see this movie, and then to hear, not only for the first time ever, it is fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's also critically acclaimed. That's just freaking wild. And I gotta say, it deserves all of that. This is a great movie and it's a great time. And the biggest hurdle that they had to get over was to make John Kramer the hero. Because, you know, in past movies, like, yeah, sure, you get to a point with these franchises where, yes, you want to see Michael Myers stab the teens. You want to see Freddy Krueger haunt the nightmares. Same with Jason, Leatherface, so on and so forth. You want to start cheering for them because they're the price of admission. They're the main event. But when it comes to Jigsaw, with some of the traps that he puts them in, you're just like, I don't think they needed that. I think you went a little too hard, like in Saw 7, where the wife died and all she was just a supportive wife, and like died in the most brutal way. Don't think it was needed. And along with some other traps too, where you're just like, I think you went a little too far there, buddy. But in this one, these people are awful because they take advantage of people who are sick, who have cancer, and they just try to get their money, and it's all a big scheme. And so when he does get screwed over and he realizes it, he's like, all right, let's do this. And the traps that he makes, and what sets this one different from the others, to the other sequels anyway, is that at a certain point within the Saw franchise, I want to say after 3, because 3 was brutal, that it just became torture for torture's sake, and it was just for the wow factor of like, oh my god, I can't believe they're showing that. While here, it's still gory. It's still gory, don't get me wrong. I mean, Saw's gory, and this movie is gory. Is this the most gory out of all 10? No, not by a long shot. And it's probably not even the most gory movie I've seen in the last 5 years. I mean, Terrifier 2 was more gory than this, but still very gory. But it was gore with purpose, meaning the traps that he puts them in the situation, because it's a buildup. It's a slow burn to get to the traps. Like, you see a couple of traps before we get to the main event. I saw another review where they said it's like a fight. It's like when you buy a pay-per-view for a fight and you have the undercard. And there's a couple of undercard traps in here too, but you're really building up to when the people that screw John Kramer over and get into those traps, and then it's very, very satisfying when we get to it. So to see the gore with purpose, like, okay, so you were supposed to be this person during the operation, so you get this trap. You were this person during the operation, you get this trap. And it just fits so well, and you're just like, yeah. And and really judging yourself like they deserve this. But this is still very, very horrifying to watch. Very much indeed. And it's really cool to see Amanda back. However, there's a little jarring moment within these movies. I was able to look past it, was able to just have a good time with it. But when you realize that this was supposed to take place in between Saw 1 and Saw 2, and John Kramer, or Tobin Bell, and the actress who plays Amanda, Shawande, I cannot remember her last name, and I'm pretty sure I'm butchering her first name as well, so I apologize to you if you are watching this, which would be cool if you were. Comment if you are. They're supposed to be 15 years younger, and they didn't de-age them. I mean, they look great for their ages. Don't get me wrong, they look great. But it's just like you're supposed to be younger, and you're clearly much older than you were when you did these movies for obvious reasons, and they didn't de-age them or anything. It's a little jarring. I mean, I wouldn't have minded if they would have just done the full Saw bit where they just had backwards hats on the whole entire time. That would have been freaking funny. But yeah, once you get past that, it is a great writing. Like seeing them build that relationship, seeing that bond, seeing him coaching her for like, yeah, no, she really was supposed to take over. She truly was. Sorry, he started barking outside the window. And seeing all that was very, very nice to see. Now, the villains, because, they're horrible people, it does become at a point, and I'm not going to spoil anything, it does come to a point where it becomes a little too cartoonish, and like, it's just like, I just can't believe anyone to be that evil. Like, to just continue to be such a bad person. And it just becomes a little comedic at times. And also, now, a lot of times with the Saw movies, because we've come accustomed to it now, right? Every single one, there is some kind of a twist. There is a turn, because when Hello Zep plays, then you see how all the cookies crumble, and you're just like, they got me, or like, that makes no freaking sense. Like in Saw 1 and 2, mind blown, perfect twist, great, capped off. Then you get Jigsaw, where you're just like, how is this game supposed to be 15 years ago if there was a flat screen? This one, the twist works. They just took a long time to get there. And they really send this all is lost moment. But when you know this is between Saw 1 and 2, you know they're going to make it out. Like, there does become a point where, like, okay, the all is lost moment, and it looks like, Jigsaw's going to lose. Jigsaw's not going to lose. Like, we know he's going to win. And you're just waiting for that twist to happen, and they just drag it for a long time, to the point where I do feel like the movie overstays its welcome just a little bit within that time period, where it is like, haha, we got you. No, you don't. And we know you don't. And we know you don't, especially when we know where in the timeline that this falls in. Now, when the twist does happen, it's still very satisfying, and it does work. And it is, in that perfect raw Saw aspect of, well, if one thing happens, this all goes to shit. But, of course, Kramer already knows how the plan is going to go. And I just really had fun with this movie. I think it was a great time. There are problems with it, again, mainly within the third act, where the villains do become a little bit too cartoonish for me. And again, it does overstay its welcome a little bit, because it's just with the power of hindsight that we know he is going to make it. He is going to win in the end. And they just carried it on a little bit too long for my taste. But besides that great time, it was great to see everyone. If you're a really hardcore Saw fan, I cannot imagine how you don't like this movie at all. If you are a casual Saw fan, I also think you will enjoy this movie. It might be your favorite one out of all of them, because it is a little tame compared to the other ones. If you weren't a Saw fan before, I don't expect this to change you by any means necessary. But hey, still give it a shot. I do think this is a theater movie. First, great time for this, and I think it's going to really have great legs throughout all of October, because it's that time of year. If it's Halloween, it must be Saw. Am I right? But yeah, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Saw X. And again, if you want to leave a ranking, you go ahead and do that. I'd be really curious to see that. I'll leave my ranking down below too. Or you can see the ranking on my TikTok. I'm about to post that one up. But yeah, until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.